Welcome to another episode of Animator Interviews. My name is Evan Vernon. I'm a contributor at Animation for Adults, as well as Animation Nights New York, also known as ANNY. For those new to ANNY, we are a monthly screening event and yearly festival that celebrates the very best in animation talent. Our artists come from all across the globe, and many have had their work featured at Cannes, Annecy, and other prominent festivals. We receive thousands of submissions each year, and each year we screen just 20 at our annual Best of Fest. Today we're discussing one of those 20. I'm joined now by Hila Einy, Yoav Aluf, and ANNY Bar. The Israeli artists attended the Bezalel Academy of Art and Design and became close collaborators during their studies together. The trio's thesis film, HOMESICK, tells the story of a family living in a flooded water world. A young woman lives with her parents until she decides to brave the world alone, separating her house from theirs in a symbolic act of maturity. Homesickness gets the better of the woman, however, and in a short few days she returns to her family, tethering her house to theirs once more. Things have changed for the family, however. The daughter's house appears too heavy for her parents' home, and as her visit drags on, both the buildings begin to sink. The girl strikes out yet again, aware that every young adult, no matter how scared or reluctant, must eventually grow up. Today, Hila, Yoav, and ANNY have kindly agreed to discuss HOMESICK, its message, and their exciting new studio, Plonter Animation. Today's interview is also public and open to audience questions. We will address all of those as they come in. Hila, Yoav, ANNY, thanks for being here. Hila, I'll start with you. Give us some background on yourself. What inspired you to become an animator?
So for me, the decision to be an animator was like from very young age. I remember just watching movies and falling in love with them. And especially the idea of creating like a magical world, and then people will go into it and feel stuff. So it was such a great feeling for me that I was like, yeah, I want to be in that industry. And yeah, that was my rebellion against my parents, because both my parents are very like, my mom is a doctor and my father is an engineer, and I was like, yeah, I want to be an animator. And they're like, what there is to do with that? But yeah, I was like, no, I want it.
You followed your heart, and it
Exactly.
paid off, evidently. Thanks for sharing, Hila. ANNY, how about yourself? What inspired you to become an animator?
So I think the same as Hila. I was from a young age. I saw movies with my father, the basic Disney and Pixar stuff. I always confused between, maybe I think I was 18 that I didn't know if I want to go to programming or to be something artistic. And I decided I want to go to something artistic, and my parents actually support me, and I decided I want to go to do something with my drawing skills, and here I am today, and I love it, and I like to see how my ideas and drawing are inspiring other people. So it's something that makes me feel very happy.
Well said, ANNY. Thank you for sharing. And finally, Yoav, how about yourself? What inspired you to become an animator?
I'm always like stories. I like to listen to stories. I like to tell stories. Storytelling was always something really important in my life. And I think I find the animation as maybe the best medium to tell a story with so many layers. You have the animation and the designs, the music, and there's so many different layers who combine together to create one story which bigger than all of the ingredients. So I think it's the ultimate way to tell a story together with all of those things.
Yeah, there's that kind of proverbial expression that a picture's worth 1,000 words, and with animation, you have thousands of pictures. So well said, Yoav. There's something to be said, isn't there, about the power of something as dynamic of animation? You know, it's kind of like entering someone's dream. And the three of you have made a very beautiful dream together with this film, which kind of leads into my next question here. So Homesick, really interesting film that kind of deals a lot, it seems like, with the idea of family and separation. We can talk about that in a second. But give us some background on the film. Where did this project begin? What inspired it?
So I think the stage we created this movie was because it's a graduation film.
Mhm.
And I think the stage of you are going to graduate, this stage in anyone's life, I think it's just between being a kid and being an adult. Because after graduation, it's like everything is, no one holds your hand. Everything is like, now you. And this idea was so scary for the three of us. Each of us had a different stage in life. Some of us had already been married. Some of us were like in a couple. But the idea of to go out into the world and making money and
Yeah.
creating a home for ourselves were so scary that we felt like we're on unstable ground. And that's why Yoav, with his crazy idea, said like, okay, maybe we should create a world who is like only on water. Everything is on water. Nothing is stable. And that's how the idea was created.
Yeah. Noah, Yoav, did the two of you want to add anything to that before we continue on?
No, I think Hila said it well. Maybe I just said that in this year, in the last year, I moved with my boyfriend, then now is my husband, to my parents' house, and I felt this conflict that we talked about in the movie. So it was something that we took from everyone's lives, like Hila said, and when we felt it, very good. So.
Very well said. And before I continue, for those in the gallery, if you have questions for Hila, Noy, and Yoav, feel free to pop them in. We'll address those before the interview comes to a conclusion. So you've talked about this film as kind of like a coming of age. It's about growing up, about leaving. I'd like to explore that just a little more if we could. So it's interesting, in this film, you see this girl floating on her own house, right, on the water, join her family, and it creates kind of an imbalance, right? Like she has to leave for their sake, you know, otherwise their house is going to sink. Can you tell us a little more about that? It seems like separating from them is necessary in some way.
Yes, this is the story. We thought about the delicate balance between the parents who want to give everything they can for their daughter and want to be like family, like days before when she was younger, when she was still a little kid and they live in their house. But in the other end, they had to sacrifice a lot to give her this place again, because after she left from at the first time, the parents managed themselves to balance their life for the second time. Like they made their own life, only the two of them. And when she came back, they need to reorganize everything again. And we think what we try to say, it's you can't go back in time. Like if you want to change things and to get back for what you used to have, it's like you need to do a lot of sacrifices and big changes to make it fit again.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just kind of a comment, but the way that you use the instruments, the music in this film to kind of illustrate that was absolutely beautiful because you have the father and the mother with their piano, and the mother singing. The father was at the piano, able to kind of play by themselves, and the daughter with her cello soloing essentially, like on her own house. But as soon as they came together and the house started to tilt, the piano fell out and the father could no longer, and the mother too, play his music. It almost seems like a metaphor for them, being able to live peacefully and in the way that they were meant to live, in the present. I did want to ask you, because I know this is kind of an older film. You made it at Bezalel together, which for those listening in is a very prestigious arts institution in Israel. We've had other artists at ANNY from Bezalel as well. Tell us a bit about your work at Plonter Animation. What inspired the three of you to create this studio? And are there any projects you can tell us about you've been working on?
Wow, so this is so exciting because we in our graduation film, it was such a grand experience because we expressed our feelings and fears towards the end of the year, and then we finished. And you have this big project and it's behind you, and it's like, what now? What happens now? But we had so much fun working together, and stuff just came by us after that because Homesick was out there, and because of it we got more works, and we just started working together and start rolling this this car together, and it was so amazing. So we keep doing it again and again. But to start a business is not like doing a graduation film, and this is some of the things we are coping with right now. But we had great projects. You want to tell about them? No, Yoav?
So we did many projects that we loved. We especially we worked with the Sony Music with the Dennis Lloyd on a music video. That was pleasure also because they were amazing, and also because they gave us so many places to do the stuff we love. They gave us a short script, and Yoav did rewrite it so it would work with animation, and Hila did all the designs, and we recruit some people to work with us, amazing group. So it was a big and fun project to do. We work with museums, and actually the last thing we did is a series we did with Amazon, and it's supposed to go up in a few weeks. So it's also
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, yeah. So it's also an exciting project we did. Anything else that you want to add?
Those are all heavy hitters, though. If something comes to mind, like, let me know. But yeah, well, congratulations to all three of you. I mean, we've spoken to artists who have ambitions of starting their own studio, and it's probably a bit of a learning curve because you might learn animation in school, but you don't always learn the business of animation. So yeah, congratulations to all of you for kind of teaching yourselves, I'm assuming, and making this work, and not only making it work, but making it work well. The fact that you have these high profile clients says a lot about not just your ability, but also your business savvy. So
actually, we're still working on it.
Yeah.
It sounds better than it did.
Yeah, because sometimes we feel like three artists who knows our job very well, but then when it comes to the business side, we're like, what do we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're making it work.
Yeah. And the fact that you have each other to rely on is probably reassuring too. I mean, it's obvious that the three of you have chemistry. There's no way that you would have been able to create a short, much less a studio together if that weren't true. So really exciting to talk to you today. I know that you're busy, and I don't want to go over time. So I'll end with one last question here. Where do you see yourselves in the future? Do you have any dream projects in mind you'd like to do? Any collaborations? What does a perfect world look like for Plonter Animation?
Wow, that's a hard question, because I think each of us see it in a bit different way. But I think all of us want Plonter to be a big studio where we can actually bring more animators and more designers and more directors and get bigger and bigger and do projects that we can do from A to Z, do everything from script to post-production, doing everything in-house and keep doing amazing stories for the whole world. So I think that's one thing all of us want.
Wonderful. Noah, Yoav, did you want to add anything to that before we wrap up?
Yes, we have a lot of ideas for short films and even longer than short films that we really want to find the opportunity to produce. And we really hope someday we can find the time like we had when we were studying, just to take 1 year to work on such a big film. So we really hope so that one day we will have the time again to work on one of our independent movies, something we can send again to festivals and go with it around the world.
Yeah, I think we would like to find the balance between business and to do stuff to get our money for our day-to-day life, and also to find the way we can make our own movies, to be creative, to do the thing that inspire us, and to work on the stuff that we think can change or can do things or could inspire the other people. We hope we will find the time to do both of the things. I think that's the big dream. That's the big dream.
Yeah. Well, once again, thank you to all three of you for joining us today. I have every confidence we'll see great things from Plonter in the future. So look forward to seeing what projects come from you. For all those listening in, if you would like to continue following Hila, Noy, and Yoav, we'll include all of their pertinent social media handles in the interview description so that you can continue to follow Plonter. That's all I've got. But thanks again to all three of you. Really appreciate your time today. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Owen.
It was a pleasure to be here and talk with you.
It's a pleasure to feature your work.
Great honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.